In northern Germany, a Nazi megastructure is causing controversy. Not for its past, but for its future. The Colossus of Prora, a massive seaside resort built in the 1930s, was once a symbol of Nazi propaganda. Today, it's being transformed into luxury apartments, hotels, and holiday homes. Some see it as progress, while others see it as erasing history. So how did this colossal building go from a failed Nazi dream to a 21st century beach resort? Prora sits on the island of Rügen, Germany's largest island, famous for its chalk cliffs, long sandy beaches, and picturesque fishing towns. Since the 19th century, Rügen has been a holiday destination for the wealthy. Prussian elites flocked here for summer retreats, and over time, it grew into one of Germany's favorite getaway spots. By the early 20th century, seaside tourism was booming, and that's when Prora became the stage for one of the most ambitious projects in Nazi history. In 1933, Adolf Hitler's regime launched the Strength Through Joy program, known in German as Kraft durch Freude. The idea was to offer affordable holidays to working-class Germans, but it was also a powerful propaganda tool. By 1935, Robert Ley, head of the program, ordered the construction of a massive seaside resort at Prora. Architect Clemens Klotz designed the complex, 8 identical blocks stretching along the coast for 4.5 kilometers, nearly 3 miles. It was meant to hold 20,000 vacationers at once, each in small, uniform rooms with views of the Baltic Sea. Communal bathrooms, service towers, a giant festival hall for 20,000 people, and even plans for a pier large enough for cruise ships made this project unlike anything else in Europe. There were also designs for swimming pools, cafes, a cinema, and even an observation tower. The scale of the project was monumental. It wasn't just a holiday resort. It was a concrete expression of Nazi power and ideology. Construction began in May 1936. Each block was 6 stories tall and stretched more than half a kilometer. Built from reinforced concrete and brick, they were designed to last for generations. At its peak, about 9,000 workers were on site, including some forced laborers. The total cost was equivalent to nearly $900 million today. But the resort was never finished. In 1939, with the outbreak of World War II, construction stopped. Half of the blocks were complete, but many of the auxiliary facilities, the pools, cinemas, and giant festival hall, never left the drawing board. Instead of tourists, the site soon became a ghostly shell of what might have been. When the war ended, the Soviet army occupied Rügen and took control of Prora. Unlike other Nazi landmarks that were demolished, Prora was so massive that attempts to destroy it failed. Its reinforced concrete was simply too strong. Over the years, its purpose changed. Some Nazi-era sites in Germany became memorials. Prora, on the other hand, was repurposed. Under East German rule, the vast complex became a military base. It was erased from public maps and kept secret from outsiders. For decades, ordinary people didn't even know what it had become. The dream of a seaside resort had vanished. Instead, Prora became a cold, empty relic of a dark past. After the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and German reunification in 1990, Prora suddenly became visible again. The question was, what do you do with a Nazi megastructure? Should it be demolished, preserved as a warning, or reused for something new? In 1994, the entire site was declared a protected historic monument. That meant it couldn't simply be torn down. Any redevelopment would have to respect its history. For years, arguments raged. Was it ethical to turn a building with such dark origins into a tourist destination? Or was that the only way to keep it alive? The first redevelopment proposals in the 1990s included hotels, a water park, and even a shopping mall. But none of them worked out. In 2004, the government decided to sell Prora block by block. That's when private investors stepped in. In 2006, Seaside Prora GmbH bought 2 blocks and launched Prora Solitaire, a project that transformed the ruins into luxury apartments and a resort. The original rooms were tiny, just 2.5 by 5 meters, with simple furniture and shared facilities. These were designed to push people toward group activities and propaganda events. Developers gutted these rooms and rebuilt them into modern apartments and penthouses, many selling for hundreds of thousands of euros. Balconies, which were not part of the completed 1930s design, were added. At first, this caused controversy, but later architects discovered that balconies had actually been included in the original blueprints. Bit by bit, Prora was reborn, not as a Nazi propaganda machine, but as a seaside resort for a new era. Out of the original 8 blocks, 5 survive. 3 of them are now fully renovated with modern apartments, hotels, restaurants, and even a youth hostel. 2 are still being refurbished. Visitors today will find cafes, beach bars, and holiday rentals. In summer, Prora is alive again, filled with tourists soaking up the sun on the Baltic coast. But not everyone is happy with the transformation. Some historians argue that the new leisure development overshadows Prora's dark history. Tourists sipping cocktails in luxury apartments may not realize that this same building was once a tool of Nazi propaganda. Only one museum remains on site, the Documentationscentrum Prora, dedicated to preserving the memory of its origins. So how should we treat places like Prora? Experts argue that redevelopment should balance culture, tourism, research, and memory. Developers counter that giving the building a positive new purpose helps society move forward. As historian Ulrich Busch put it, the building itself isn't good or bad. Its meaning depends on how we use it. Germany has faced this dilemma before. The Berlin Olympic Stadium, built for the 1936 Games, was once a Nazi showpiece. Today, it hosts concerts and football matches, its history remembered but its purpose redefined. Prora sits in the same space. It's not just about the past, it's about how we choose to live with that past in the present. Handled carefully, buildings like Prora can heal rather than harm. Prora's story is about more than concrete and architecture. It's about how societies remember, how they rebuild, and how they move forward. From a Nazi propaganda tool to a modern seaside resort, Prora asks us an uncomfortable question. What do we do with the architecture of a dark past? The answer may define not just how we see history, but how we live with it.